What's up, y'all? It's TheNaturegirl30 here, and WrestleMania is literally weeks away, and I've actually have had some concerns about WrestleMania, but either or, there are a few pitches that I kind of wanted to throw out there to see what you guys think. So these are the 7 pitches that I have for WrestleMania 39. Do not include The Rock in the main event. Leave The Rock out of this. The Rock is 50 years old, well, actually beyond 50. He's a huge megastar, makes a ton of money. He's been out of the game for a long time. I know he's Samoan and I know he is related to Roman Reigns, but do not have him at all involved in WrestleMania. Keep him away. I understand that WrestleMania is in Hollywood this time, but they need to keep him out. He has been there, he has done that, he has got the t-shirt, he is old news. It is time for him to be gone, doing something he has to do. If he's going to be at the go-home show of SmackDown, sure, but do not have him involved at all at WrestleMania. It will not be needed. Have Sami Zayn involved in the main event, not just so much of being a triple threat match. As much as I would love for Sami Zayn to be involved in a triple threat match for the championship, I hate to say it, but Cody did win the Rumble, even though I don't think it was fairly done, but that's just me. But anyway, the fact is that it should be one-on-one against Cody and Roman, but Sami Zayn needs to get his comeuppance. He needs to get Roman Reigns' comeuppance by being involved or somehow interfering in the match. I guess that's the best way of explaining it. I want Sami Zayn to interfere in the match and cost Roman the title, or cost someone the title, even if it's by accident. And more likely with Sami Zayn and his comedic shenanigans is going to be by accident. But he needs to be involved here. If he does it in a comedic way and costs Cody Rhodes the championship, it can be a feud against those two. And that will be an amazing match. But also there has to be an end game with the Bloodline. The Bloodline has reached their course. It needs to end at WrestleMania. At least title-wise. Now, the true end game, I'm going to mention that in my next pitch. But for this one, for the titles to disappear, Sami has to be the one to do it. He has to be the one to cause that interference for Roman Reigns to lose. And even if he doesn't lose, it's going to still lead to something else. It's going to either lead to a feud against him and Cody or a feud against him and Roman, either or. It might go in either direction. But in my opinion, it's going to probably be more of a feud against him and Cody and the end of the Bloodline. The Bloodline needs to end, and Sami Zayn needs to be the one to have those titles taken away. It starts with Jay, and it ends with Jay. Now, this is a pitch that I think that Irvin has been kind of talking about a lot in the Club Atlantis chat, that it kind of started with Jey Uso. And in a way, he's not wrong. The whole thing with Roman going heel, and of course you have the Usos on their side, but Jey was kind of fickle about it, or just kind of on the fence. It started with him in the feud. It should end with him in the feud. Now, with the titles being gone, let's just say that Cody took the titles because Sami Zayn interfered. And let's just say that Jey Uso came out to stop Sami. But when we think he's going to stop Sami, he actually is the one that super kicked Roman, causing a feud between Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, the guy that nearly beat him. Can you imagine at Backlash that they face each other one final time? I mean, as brothers, only for it to officially be over at Backlash. It started with Jay, it should end with Jay. And Jay would end the Tribal Chief, while Sami Zayn will be the one to interfere and possibly end the rule of the Tribal Chief. Jay could end the Tribal Chief as the Tribal Chief. So I think it should start with Jay and end with Jay, but not in a title way, but it should definitely just be the official ending of the Tribal Chief and the Bloodline as a whole at Backlash. Bianca Belair has got to lose against Asuka. Now, it's bad enough, in my humble opinion, that you had Carmella, and I've already had at least one disagreement with someone in Club Atlantis about this. But Carmella had no right to dominate Asuka at all, especially she's the #1 contender to the Women's Championship at WrestleMania. It made no sense for her to be dominated by Carmella, and it kind of downgraded her a little bit. Asuka's in Kana mode now. She's not the jokey, laughy type of comedy character she was as Asuka, as WWE Asuka. She's in Kana mode, so she needs to be a brute. And to be honest with you, Bianca Belair, as much as I love her, her title reign is getting stale. It's getting stale and boring. She is losing any ounce of cred because of the lack of competition there is in the women's division. There is nobody to go up against her except for Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch, Bayley, Charlotte, any of the 4 horsewomen, even Sasha. The 4 horsewomen were the only ones that gave her decent competition. Everybody else did not. We can't just stick with Becky. We just can't. Now that Asuka is back in Kana mode, she's got to win, because I'm sorry, Bianca Belair, if you really want her to turn heel, now I know that Irvin has talked about this in the group. If anybody who's a fan of Bianca Belair and believe that she might have more flavor turning heel, this would be the reason. Why do you think that Becky Lynch turned heel? Because Becky Lynch wanted to make more of herself. And then when she lost several times to Bianca, she got humbled. It's got to be natural. Bianca Belair was all happy and on high, but when she loses that belt, she's going to see how much that belt meant to her and how much it meant to her name. And if it starts to get to her, then yeah, she can start turning heel. And to be honest with you, she needs to separate herself from her husband, because her husband is a clown. You can imagine the fact that she go heel and her husband's trying to snap some sense out of her and she ignores him. That's going to be an entirely different thing. It's going to be a whole different edge to Bianca Belair. And in my opinion, her entire reign is getting incredibly stale. She needs a challenge, and Asuka is that challenge. But Asuka needs to win, and Asuka needs to be dominant. But I'm not going to say she needs to be dominant throughout the match. It needs to be, of course, a good match. And I know people hate that word, but I'm just saying. When it comes to the match cannot be one-sided. The match has to seem like she is going to be fighting very hard to keep her title. She always depends on her brute strength, while Asuka has the strikes. Asuka is a striker versus a powerhouse. At least I don't think she's a powerhouse. In my opinion, she should be technical, but she has the powerhouse moves versus a striker. How is that going to balance out? I want to see Bianca Belair fight for that title. And if she loses, she has something to fight for to gain back. She might be the dirtiest player in the game trying to get back to how she used to be. And honestly, that will be a new flavor for her to go heel. But I don't think she should win the title or keep the title to do it. I don't think she needs to be all desperate and stuff. We've seen that far too much. I think she needs to lose the title and be hungry to get it back by any means necessary. Rhea Ripley needs to win. Now, I'm not going to lie, I actually saw, I think it was Wrestlemania 35, and I think that was the one that was during the whole COVID era where everything was like on a screen during that time. But the fact that Rhea Ripley was a beast, she was able to finally beat Shayna Baszler, go to SmackDown and challenge Charlotte Flair, only for Charlotte Flair to dominate her and beat the crap out of her. Now, am I going to say that she got buried? I can't. The reason why I can't is because it's two different things. She started off at NXT. She was finally able to beat someone in NXT. Going to the main roster is a whole different beast. I'm not going to say that Charlotte Flair buried her. I'm going to say that Charlotte Flair was superior to her because she's been on the main roster longer. This will be a good underdog story for a heel. For a heel Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley is pretty much on the top of her game right now. Especially the fact that she's the first Iron Woman to win. Actually, no, she's the second. Because I take that back. She's the first Iron Woman. Because she came in first and she won the entire thing. If I'm wrong, leave it in the comments below. But anyway, she was the first Iron Woman to actually win this past Royal Rumble. How interesting would it be for her to actually beat the person that beat her in the past WrestleMania? There's a story behind that. Even though it makes sense for a lot of people that it should have been Bianca Belair, I understand why it's Charlotte Flair. And what did Ric Flair say? In order to be the man, you gotta beat the man. I mean, you kind of are, because that is Ric Flair's daughter, and she's been on the top of her game even when she was gone. So, in order to be that man, or to be that woman, you gotta beat that woman. Or in this case, you gotta beat the queen. So, she has to lose. Charlotte Flair has to put Rhea Ripley over in order for her to be a new star. And I think that Charlotte Flair has been there, done that, got the t-shirt. There's really nothing else for her to do. I wouldn't be surprised if she's okay with putting her over. Even though, despite, due to popular belief that Charlotte Flair is always trying to hog the title, in this case, it's something different. But I do believe that the right thing to do is to have Rhea Ripley win all the way through. That will be a very memorable moment. And that will be something that is going to really help Rhea Ripley's career. Oh gosh, I don't really know how I can pitch this, because John Cena practically just annihilated Austin Theory. He annihilated Austin Theory on the mic. I don't know how this can be fixed. I really don't. The only thing that I can think of is that John Cena can just come out and raise his hand and put him over if Austin Theory retains the title, which is more likely what's going to happen. I do think that Austin Theory is going to retain the title because John Cena is a very busy man. He is not going to be able to be there to fight. He's not going to be there to actually fight for the title or defend the title. He's not going to be there to be able to do that. So more than likely, Austin Theory is going to win. But after that annihilation on the mic against John Cena needs to be there. I don't care if it's for 5 minutes or 2. He needs to put that man over. It's a shame that he just got completely just punched in the face verbally in the ring with John Cena. And the fact that he's gonna be there at the Raw after WrestleMania, he needs to be put. It's gonna be impossible because that crowd is terrible. That crowd is absolutely awful. I don't know how he's gonna be able to survive it. I don't think he will, depending on where it is. But Cena's gotta be there. Cena's gotta be there to put him over. The fans might boo, but I feel bad for Austin Theory. I don't think there's a win-win for him. It's more of a lose-lose, but Cena's got to be there to raise his hand and put him over. Okay. And this is my final pitch for WrestleMania. The Universal titles, both tag and the main belt, must die at WrestleMania. If Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens wins the tag belts, they need to be divided. Have Raw have a big tournament for anyone to have a big tournament for anyone to be the champion there for the tag champs at Raw. They need to split the belts up. They need to make it regular tag titles for both brands. The same thing for the undisputed title for the main belt. They really did kind of mess up Raw and made Raw a lot weaker when they took their main belt away, to where you had to make the mid-card belt your main belt, and I think that they kind of suffer for that. The Undisputed Championship needs to die at WrestleMania. They need to split the belts up. Take one back to Raw, whoever wins, because I'm going to be honest with you, if Cody Rhodes wins, he's going to go that whole honorable route and say that, look, he said that he was going to bring back the Winged Eagle title. He was going to do that. He was going to bring back the Winged Eagle title. And I think that he's going to bring it to SmackDown, which makes sense. I take that back. He's going to bring it to Raw because I think that Cody Rhodes is on Raw. But anyway, he's going to bring back the Winged Eagle belt. That's the one thing he kept talking about. He was going to bring back the Winged Eagle belt and make that the main title. He should do that. But then he's going to be honorable and give the SmackDown title back to SmackDown. They're going to have a big tournament to see who's going to win. Somehow Roman's going to try to be involved, but I don't think Roman needs to win. But that's a whole nother thing in itself. But The undisputed titles, both tag and the main belts, need to end at WrestleMania. It needs to end. It does not in any way, shape, or form needs to continue, because it's really hurting Raw without a main belt and without tag belts. And they're not actually making them travel, except for the Usos are traveling from one area to another, but the main title isn't. So they need to end both and split them both up, make them 2 individual brands again, and hopefully all will be right with them. Okay guys, those were my 7 pitches for WrestleMania 39. I am curious to hear what you guys think about them in the comments below. What are your pitches that you would have for WrestleMania 39? What would you like to actually see at WrestleMania 39? Leave it in the comments below. Let me know how you feel, and I'll talk to y'all later. Peace out.